My name's Emiko, and it's interesting because what I have doesn't really involve a lot of pain. I have a disease, kidney disease, really called end-stage renal disease, which is a kidney disease that has permanently shut down my kidneys. They don't work anymore. But it's interesting because those issues you deal with chronic pain are the same issues I deal with disease, like loss of identity and yeah, those little things like not being able to do certain things, and you know, if you see me on the outside, I look fine. I look pretty healthy, but on the inside, there's things going on that you don't want to know about. And so I never really talked about my disease in an open setting like this. I've talked about it with friends and close friends and even strangers that ask me. So it's kind of weird talking about it because I generally try to hide it. More so just because I don't want to be known as the sick person. You know, I don't want to be, I don't want that to be the first thing people see me as if they know that about me before they meet me or they know that about me. I don't want to be the sick person. I just want to be whoever I used to be. I don't know who that was, but I had this idea of who I used to be, which I'm sure I'm not now. But I don't know, I just try to live my life as normally as I can. But anyways, I wrote this zine. I got diagnosed in late 2003, early 2004, and it was a whole long series. I dealt with a lot of pain before I got diagnosed. The symptoms I dealt with before I got diagnosed were crazy, to say the least. And so I wrote this zine after I got diagnosed and was out of the hospital, and I wrote it mainly for myself, and also for people to read, to maybe learn something from. Okay, so with my disease, there's only a couple options, which is death, or dialysis, or kidney transplant. And I've pretty much done all three of those. So my zine is in 3 parts, pretty much documenting. The first one documents how I got sick and went to the hospital and got diagnosed. The second one is about my dialysis. The third one is about my transplant. And it's been 3 years since my transplant. Is going to be 4 in January, and I kind of gave up on my zines after my transplant because it was almost like I had to put them past me to heal, because I wrote these when I was on dialysis still, and after my transplant it was almost like I had a new life and I wanted to put these past me. It was kind of semi-conscious, but so then when I was asked to read this, I printed them all up again so I could share them with everybody, and hopefully you'll buy them from them, because I don't know, it's pretty interesting to read, but there's pictures in them, and so you have to buy them to see the pictures. So they're over there at the table. But I'll read a little bit from them, from the first one, and yeah, here it goes. In the summer of 2003, I started getting mind-splitting migraines. They'd only happen after sleeping, so I thought I was grinding my teeth. I bought a night guard for my teeth, but it didn't help. Maybe it was my pillow. I bought an orthopedic one, and that gave me a little relief. My naturopathic doctor looked at a previous blood test, and my iron was super low, and anemia can cause migraines. I thought it also might be the stress from starting our new business. Suddenly, my eyes started to get blurry. The naturopath thought it could be from the migraines or that I needed glasses. Yeah, right. Maybe it all did stem from stress and being too busy to eat well, but I just kept getting sicker. I lost my appetite and started gagging and puking even if I smelled food. New symptoms seemed to pop up every day. I was so tired. I kept having to take breaks from work and eventually had to stop going altogether. It took a week for the blurs to grow into blind spots almost covering my whole field of vision. I couldn't sleep either. Whenever I lay down, I choked and coughed on fluid from my lungs and a weird sound whooshed in my ears. The naturopath said I had a virus. She said a lot of people were coming in with the same symptoms, yet she thought the eye problem was a separate issue. Worst of all, my muscles were shrinking, including my butt, the main display of my Mexicanness. I started to think this wasn't just a virus and maybe my naturopath didn't know shit. Finally, I got an appointment with an eye doctor. No thanks to the ice storm of 2004. He told me my retinas had hemorrhaged. Two things caused that: diabetes and/or high blood pressure. I just had a diabetes test that was negative. Wouldn't you know, my blood pressure was unusually high the last time the naturopath checked. She said it was probably from stress, strike two for her. I got an appointment with a retinal specialist. I was so afraid I was going blind. By this time, I could hardly walk anymore. I tried sleeping, sitting up, but I would choke and cough even if I reclined just a little. I hadn't eaten in a month, my heart wouldn't stop beating 200 beats a minute, and my eyes and ankles were swollen. I disappeared and didn't see friends, so most people didn't even know I was sick. Chad would have to go open the store, and I would have freakouts at home and have to call him to calm me down. He would close the store and walk home and hug me till I stopped crying. There was this weird feeling in the back of my mind like I knew I was dying. My body was shutting itself down. The kidneys weren't working, and you might not know it, but kidneys do pretty much everything to keep the body functioning. The toxins and excess fluids were getting expelled like they should have been. See how important peeing is? Chad was having a hard time taking care of me, the store, and everything else, so my mom flew in from San Antonio to help. Everything seemed against me getting better. The ice storm, the wait to get in to see the retinal specialist, the naturopath's incompetence. The herbal tinctures she gave me weren't doing shit to help, yet I kept going back to see her, begging for answers. My mistake was having that much faith in her abilities, but when you're that sick, you get desperate, and she was the only doctor I knew. I felt reassurance in her words. I called her a couple of times asking if she thought I should go to an emergency room, but she told me, nah, you just have a virus. You go to emergency room, they'll just tell you the same thing and send you a huge bill. Now that I look back on it all, she should have known. Every symptom had kidney failure written all over it. It still makes me sad to think that maybe, just maybe, I could have been saved in time. Saved so maybe instead of having 8% kidney function, I could have had at least 15, 20. Timing makes all the difference. My mom and I finally got to the retinal specialist. I staggered in there, too sick to even stand. He looked me over for about 5 minutes, then ordered me to go to the emergency room right away. My blood pressure was at a critical level, 220 over 150. Normal is around 120 over 80. It had to come down quickly or I was going to have a heart attack. They wheelchaired me to the emergency room. They hooked me up to blood pressure medicines and took blood and pee samples. The doctors looked scared for me. They were very serious and intent on figuring out what was wrong. Fucking naturopath. She was never this determined. A nephrologist or kidney doctor came in to look at my blood test. It didn't take her long to give me the bad news. Kidney failure. Damn. I called Chad. Things were getting real, but at least I was getting answers. They rolled me up to ICU to work on the high blood pressure that still threatened me. 100 doctors kept coming and going. I kept answering the same questions over and over. Quotes, my doctor said I had a virus. She gave me herbal tinctures. Herbal medicines destroy kidneys? Shit. Kidney disease? Dialysis for the rest of my life? Transplant? How did this happen? It was too overwhelming. I'm glad my mom was there. Sometimes you need your mom. I'll just stop there. It goes on. But, yeah. If you want to read more, bye.